Hello and welcome to the Start Over Coffee podcast. My name is Shakayla Smith and I lead the community here at START. Start Over Coffee is all about having conversations with creators in the Salt Lake City area. And for this episode today, we'll be interviewing Ludovica, who is a female Utah local artist. We'll be discussing the creativity behind her music, how it is in the music industry, and her journey as an artist. So, hey, Ludovica, how are you? I am super excited to have you on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to talk to you again.
I know. It's always fun talking to you. I always learn more about the artist world and just like the music industry in general. So this will be good. Yeah, let's start off the podcast with you talking about yourself a little bit and the brand Ludovica.
Sure. Okay. Hate talking about myself, so great start. I guess the brand Ludovica stands for just this conglomerate of forget your biases, and it's a lot of like love for the community. And I'm often found challenging the truth in music videos and in lyrics that I write. And I'm finding more and more that Ludovica means being vulnerable. You know, I think it's super important nowadays to be vulnerable. And I'm finding it very, very interesting how this generation is shifting towards that more. You know, I think it's super, super cool that people are finally realizing, accepting their feelings, accepting their emotions, and making that just a cornerstone, a centerpiece for how they act, how they interact with people, how to go about their business. So yeah, and I do that with my brand. I try my best to do that with my brand. So that's basically what Ludovica stands for.
I think that's beautiful. It's interesting, right? Because artists, they choose, this is actually funny. While you were talking, I was thinking, artists kind of choose a name sometimes, like Lady Gaga, other than their name, but you stuck to your name. Does that come with like being authentic? Does it is that very purposeful?
That's actually a very good question, because I don't get asked if Ludovica is my name very often. So I think people just assume that that's just a like an artsy name that I picked. But no, it's my first name, but I picked it as my artistic name for a reason. I thought that instead of building an alter ego, which there's nothing wrong with that, but for me and what I just mentioned, those were the pillars of what I'm making my brand to be. It was more truthful to stick with my first name and just carry that into my music. So yeah.
I think you're lucky too, because your first name is amazing. Whereas like I think if someone was named like John, they're like, well, John's so common, I wouldn't want my artist name to be
there
John,
would be a lot of Spotify accounts under that name for sure.
Yeah, see, it makes you
I'm
stick
for
out.
Sure lucky about that, because when I investigated, I was like, let me see how many Ludovica are on Spotify. There's quite a bit, especially from my country, which makes sense. But
Yes.
It's not such a common name that you find like millions of different accounts with that. So
Right.
you're right, it's pretty, but believe it or not, it wasn't my name to begin with. I was actually named something else at birth, and then my mother looked at my great grandma's last name, which was Ludovici, and thought that was so beautiful, like the aesthetics of it. And she was like, I wonder if I could turn that into a name. And she named me Ludovica.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And it matches you too. I couldn't see you as a different name. You know what I mean? Like, how when someone's face matches their name?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see any other name?
Yeah, I don't.
I used to be called, well, my name was Constance. And the more I tell
Ah,
people that was my original name, the more they're like, no,
yeah,
I'm glad she switched because I
me
can't see
too.
Constance in your face.
No, it doesn't mean like it doesn't match at all. Like your aura
That's
too, like
great.
your energy, like it's definitely Ludovica.
That's I don't know if that's because it comes with like, oh, people already knowing my name. They've already accustomed to Ludovica. So I don't know if they can't see anything else. I wonder if
Yeah.
I walked up to a person and said, hey, my name is Constance. And they would be like, oh,
Yeah, like they would just
I've
accept it.
expected it.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, oh, nice name. You know?
Yeah, right. That's true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to dive into a little bit of kind of what you're working on now. Some new
Sure.
releases. You've exploded in the last couple months. Like I've been seeing your newsletters, your music videos, your singles. You've been putting out so much content. How about you
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit? I would love to hear the inspiration with your last music videos, your last singles, anything.
Yes. There has been so much work behind the scenes. I started with my team. We started planning the first music video of the year back in December, and we basically just planned the whole 2021. And we didn't know where we were going exactly, but we had, an idea. And December is when we shot Decline. It was a beautiful project. It was in the middle of Christmas, which is crazy because the whole crew came together, even though we were shooting right around Christmas.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
so that speaks a lot about the committed people I have the immense honor to work with day in and out. So yeah, the client came out really, really good. I'm really proud of that project, and the response of it just it was amazing. People really liked the concept of like integrating dance because it was kind of like my first official video where I introduced that kind of world into music. And it's not like I regretted it before getting anybody else's feedback, but I was unsure because I'm not a dancer and I don't like to claim I am one. But the response was really positive, which made me really happy. And after that, the Decline came out in February. And ever since February, we've shot a total of 5 music videos. We're only
Crazy.
on month 5 of the year. And it's just crazy. We're just working a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, so what's next? Those releases and music videos and album,
Yeah,
like what's next for you?
now it's just a matter of basically strategically plan each of the project out because each project speaks about a certain thing. It has specific messages that we want to push into the community, so they have to be literally mathematically planned out when they come out, how and what kind of campaign we're gonna do. So yeah, now we did the fun, we played. Now we gotta sit back on the desk and like start, pulling numbers. So, but it's always fun. I like both sides of this, and
Yeah.
that's what's really interesting about being independent. You have a say about every single piece about what you do from letter A to letter Z. Everything that you do has some sort of like boomerang effect. It comes right back to you and it's on your desk, it's in a pile. You got to open it, you got to investigate what's wrong with it, what's good with it. So you're kind of like the CEO of every little step about your craft.
Yeah, I think that there's so much, I think, power to that in the sense that I think a lot of independent artists could really focus on who they want to be, and no one's telling them who to be. I think a lot of artists can, well, I won't say any celebrity names, but there's celebrities especially too who, get into Disney Channel and then they start to maneuver off and they're like, dang it, I had a manager all my life when I was younger. Now
Yeah.
I want to be me. Now I'm totally different. And everyone's like, whoa, they've gone crazy. But no, it's just been them. They just haven't been able to express themselves. And
Right.
so I think with an artist and being an independent artist, you really could create who you are in that foundation and be consistent all the way through. And they know exactly who you are, like Tyler, the creator.
I love Tyler, the Creator. I love the
Yeah.
fact that you mentioned him, and so many more.
Yeah, so many more.
But I don't want to keep the door shut to possibilities with record labels, because
Sure.
I know that there's so many people out there that have good intentions, and there could be a really good deal that fits your values, fits your principles, and it contains people that really see your point of view, value it, listen to you. They're not just there to make money. You're not a money machine in their eyes. You're more than that. You're a human being. You have a beautiful craft, and they respect
Mm-hmm.
that and push that forward. So I know there's people out there. What I would say though is that because they're so picky in who they work with, because they are at the top, they have a lot of say, but they want to make sure they're working with the most right people, right? They're hard to find.
It's
They're
true.
hidden, you know. So if you are looking for a good record deal, and you've been independent or your like your music career, just make sure you practice patience, because they're out there. They're just not the next call away, or they're not, your next trip.
Right.
It's hard to find. So just be patient, and just wait.
I think that's a good point. I think too, a lot of people will be like, I am marketing myself. I am on social media. I am on YouTube. They could find me, but that's not always the case. Like sometimes you have to go viral. Sometimes it just takes the right person with, to see your video and the right reach. I know like Justin Bieber, for example, I don't think he went viral. I think Usher just found him. And being consistent
Yeah,
is
I
like, I
don't
think
know,
key.
cause I remember his first record, baby, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a viral release.
Yeah, that was a viral release.
So, and he was super, super young. But I don't know if he was signed at the time. I don't want to say
I
anything
think
wrong.
he was signed at the time. I think how Usher found him was YouTube videos that his mom uploaded for him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's nuts. Like the internet is crazy in the sense that like you don't know who's watching your video. Like you don't know what those views are, like those like views mean. Like who are those views? It could
Yeah,
be people who follow you. It could be people who are just random.
right. And there's
Yeah.
so many ways in which you can do that. I mean, Billy broke into the industry with SoundCloud, or like
Yeah.
uh,
Post
have
Malone.
nothing, almost nothing to do with music, but used another platform such as, I don't know, Vines, when there used to be Vines. And then
Yeah.
from there, they just figured out, you know what? I have got the platform, I've got the audience. Now let's just use it for music.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting a call.
It's okay. You're fine. Yeah, I think it is crazy. And I think it's interesting because it doesn't matter what platform, like you said. It could be SoundCloud, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram. It totally could be anything you make it to be. If you just put high quality content out there, someone will find
I'm glad you said high quality content, because
it.
that is key. If you are wanting
Yeah.
to be found by, where we were just saying, the right people, they are looking for somebody that not only has the image to be a star, but has the caliber to be one.
Yeah.
I think some people might forget that. I think people feel like they have to compromise on their quality to get somewhere, and then when they're finally there, oh, I'll have it, because then I can put out quality projects, and I can sound better, and I can refine myself. When it's the exact opposite, you have to start refined, and you have to put out a catalog that it's worth your sound, so that when you are found, you can only escalate from there. You know, it's never
Yeah.
about minimizing yourself, making yourself a little bit smaller and a little bit more comfortable so that you can get somewhere. Just be as loud and as big as you want, just start off by being you, and then
Yeah.
be all of you when you have all the means.
Yeah. I think that's very wise of you to say. So like, how have you developed yourself as an artist over the years? Like, how have you gotten yourself wise? Because you're pretty wise in the sense of like your perspective and everything. Like, how have you developed yourself as an artist, since you're the creator of your
Thank you for
brand?
saying that. Thank you for saying that.
You're
It's,
welcome.
to me, is like a bigger compliment than somebody saying you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. I accept that more, because it shows that you're looking inside of somebody instead of just appreciating what you see.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like internal work a lot.
Good.
Um, but how I developed myself over the years, in gaining what I guess what I have, the assets that I have, um, I just I didn't dodge opportunities, or I didn't dodge especially opportunities to learn. Um, so I know a lot of people might, feel uneasy. The majority of us feels, a little uncomfortable when we're thrown a jab in our life. We would like to delay it. We would like to say we're not ready for this. But I see it as like the opportunity to level up in your life. If you grab it, you know, um, yeah, it's a fearful situation. You're gonna feel uncomfortable, but that's where you grow the most. So um, it was a process. I've never been perfect at it. I'm still not perfect at it, but nowadays I do see that whenever I have a circumstance where everything is just collapsing before me and just seems like the whole world is on me, and I just embrace it, um, and I try to learn the lesson that comes with it, and that always makes you sharper, you know. And people like really look at you after a huge challenge and say, "Wow, you've changed the way you speak, the way you think," and it's because you welcome that change. It's not because you denied it. It's never because when you deny it, you know. So that's what I've done personally, and because I knew it would reflect in my artistry. The moment that I would just like grind um myself over and over again, I knew that my pen and my ability to think was going to be different. And it's kind of crazy because just yesterday I was having this thought going over the releases that I'm going to release soon, and I was thinking, wow, last year was challenging for everybody. I've had my challenges that I didn't like publicly just lay out there, and I had to go through them by myself. And what I was writing about is basically exactly what is happening to me in 2021, you know? So I was like, wow, like this is some clairvoyant, writing situation. And it's awesome. It just tells you that you don't have to go through something um, in order to, you know, fully understand what that is. You can be highly observant and going through like that stressing uncomfortable moment in your life that seems to be breaking you and breaking every fiber of you, but what it's doing is it's deepening your thoughts so much that you almost feel like you are not predicting the future, but your vision goes so far that in 5 years or in 10 years or later down your life you go and like, yeah, that's what I was thinking about in those struggling times. It's universal principles, it's not just something small, that can relate to one person a random day of the year. It's so much bigger than that. So I just suggest me and everybody, of course, just do the work. Don't avoid the call, the pro. Just always accept those calls.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think even like for me, I need to fall in order for me to work harder. Like, I think that's for a lot of people too, is like, and they don't realize it maybe. Some people shut down and it's easy to shut down, but like
It's so
every
easy.
time inspiration or creativity comes to me, it's when I'm like pushing hard. It's after I
Yeah.
fell and I'm pushing harder. And you know, we all go through ups and downs in lives, but it's perspective. It's just the way
Yeah,
you perceive it. And being
exactly.
highly observant, like you said. That's a huge one. Interestingly enough, like it doesn't seem like it would be a game changer, but if you be observant to everything around you, what's going on, I think you become more emotionally intelligent. You start to pick up
Absolutely.
cues and things like that. It's really interesting.
I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and we were just recognizing how many people autopilot themselves, into life.
Yeah.
And there's not a pointing finger, situation happening right now. I'm just saying that the majority does that,
Yeah.
and it's worth recognizing. But what's more worth, putting your energy into is after you do recognize that, you want to break that cycle, you know, because it's so dangerous for many people, for yourself and for everybody else that surrounds you. It's scary to have somebody that doesn't observe what is all around. It's scary to have somebody that doesn't question anything about
Yeah.
anything or about themselves, especially,
Yeah.
So yeah, just do the work. Just be
I,
observant.
yeah. I think that's interesting. I also think, you know, accepting the grind and accepting that it will be hard, also, like you said, will bring you more opportunity. But if you're open to more opportunity, obviously more opportunity will come. But some people, you know, in life, you could become like what's the word I'm looking for? Entitled. Sometimes you
Yeah.
know, people feel entitled to like a certain quality or something or money, you know, whether it is money or opportunities, and it could get kind of blurry, right? Because it's like you don't want to get taken advantage of, but then you want opportunities, and especially as an artist, I could see that. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
how can I outweigh this opportunity? Is it going to benefit me in the long run? I mean, what am I actually getting from this? What are they getting from this? What's the like
You're
dollar
absolutely right.
worth? You know, and that
Yeah.
becomes really difficult.
It does become very, very difficult. But I think, all careers aside, I think I think where it stems from is the fact that we have agreed, going back to not questioning the why behind things. We have involuntarily agreed to the fact that, I don't know, if it's media, or if it's the movies that we've been exposed to, or if it's like society things, institutions that we collaborate with,
Yeah,
they have um, promoted some emotions over the others. When I rarely hear, in the outside world, not the circle that I've built, luckily, but I highly hear outside that, you know, only a few emotions are correct to have. All emotions are correct to have. You know, we're we're a very vast color palette. You know, red, it's not better than blue. Blue is not better than yellow. Yellow is not better than green. But why, for some reason, red needs to be, the winner over these other colors? If colors are colors, your box
yeah,
is versatile for a specific reason. So what I'm trying to say is, happiness and excitement have been put first row instead of sadness, or being emotional, or just a whole lot of things, right? So I feel as though people do get trapped into, that cycle, because they're expecting to feel a certain way more than other other ways. So I think it's just,
yeah.
the winning point is just recognizing that whatever you're feeling, it's part of your color palette, and that that's part of you. Not
Yeah,
negative or positive, it's just
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think that's good perspective. There's one thing I really wanted to talk about, and it's kind of something that I know you've done your like the entire time as an artist is like bootstrapping. Just like how did you, and I'm sure a lot of artists do this right now, especially local artists, is how do you bootstrap as an artist? What's some like struggles you faced on like money and investing in yourself and your songs and your music videos, putting together a team? Like, what does that work like? And yeah, give us a little behind the scenes because I'm not familiar with that.
Man, that is $1 million questions. Um, if I had to put it in a few words, I would start off by saying build a team. Build a team that believes in you, of people that they don't have to be people that you're always going to be working with. Just make that clear from jump. If you're helping each other to get somewhere, and that's clear from the beginning, then that's how you guys are going to work. Or if you do find somebody committed for the long run, um, same thing, collaborate with them. I kind of found a mix and match of both. um, just the importance is to make that purpose very clear. um, and um, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing else, no other secret in this industry than the people that
Yeah, yeah.
relationship is the only way I was able to do videos and put together projects and do the things that I'm doing right now. um, there's no other, I don't know, like it's very simple, but there's no other secret to it.
I am so happy you said it because there's a lot of people, and especially in the creative industry, um, that they want to be alone. They want to be like, I'm doing this alone. This is like my services. This is how much I like cost. And if you want
Right.
to book me, but don't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting because there's people like you though that are like have that collaborative mentality and is like, no, we need to get this, like we need to be together. We're stronger together. We could do this together. Because that's really what it is, right? Like you bring your talent, I bring my talent. Like if I make it, you make it with me or whatever, but you help each other out. Like, I mean, that's why we're on this world together. Like if we were just individualistic and worried about ourselves, we wouldn't get anywhere. We'd
Yes,
probably be
I
extinct by now.
1000 agree with how you said it.
Yeah.
It's all about support, it's all about love, and it's all about the relationships. It's just building a community, an entire village, an entire basically population of people that like can respect you and see your vision, and you support them back. It's not just about getting from these people. It's
Yes.
about just showing love and being there for them, holding them accountable, being ready to be there for them. So I don't know, I've never understood why people go into such an artistic career, such as this, and think that they're entitled to just gain from other people's strengths. And it's really sad to me, because
Yeah.
these are people that go home and like have the same struggles as you.
Yes.
So I don't
Exactly.
know what makes you think that they're not worth your time, and um they're not at the same level in a way, um because they're the very same people that are doing a service that can get you to where you are wanting to be. So they're
Exactly.
key. They're they're a pillar to what you're doing,
Yeah.
and they just need the same amount of, you know,
Port and
gratification out of it,
yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's talking to them in private and building a private relationship with them, or asking how their day is, or before shooting, they know they're going to be shooting 8 hours holding a heavy camera, which you are not doing. You're struggling with different things, but maybe you can empathize with the physical activity that they're about to do for you and with you, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, give
Yeah,
them a
everyone's
massage or
sacrificing something, like everyone's sacrificing something for their life, whether it's just like the bare minimum or,
yeah,
extra money or whatever. But people are, trying to survive out here as much as everyone else, and
very true.
I think that's interesting because it could probably seem, and it could be this, and this is in the startup world too. It's like you put so much money into something and it takes so long to see some investment back. How long has it taken you? How long is it currently taking you time? Like, where are you on that? Because I could see that being also very draining if you allow it to drain you.
Absolutely. So I just recently quit my full-time job. I quit all ties to any corporate America, I guess. And I'm fully independent. I can say finally I am an artist 24/7 full time, which is
It's
crazy to say.
exciting.
Super. And it feels different. And you asked if when have you started looking at some retribution, I guess. So for me, it kind of started kind of quickly because um, you see a lot of artists spend, 10, 20, 30 years and then they, start monetizing and start seeing something coming back their way. I think it's all about um, what you decide to make of it and when you want to start seeing money. You could start seeing money whenever you start your career. I kind of just looked at, you know, um, who to be connected with and what would be the strategies or the platforms that would pay more. Find out, streaming platforms are good and streaming is a beautiful thing, but it's not the thing that pays you the most. So I stopped concentrating at the very beginning of my career and putting all of my energies and effort in streaming and started seeing, okay, maybe live shows and touring and merch and building my own website with services. So being an artist that gives music, but being an artist that gives her other talents back to the community, that's a way how people are making money. Look at Rihanna and her lingerie line. She's a business woman. Jay-Z said it many years ago. He said, I'm a business man. you know, like I am the business, that's what he was trying to say. So be the business. We're not here and we're not painted in one color. Sit down with yourself, make sure you know who you are, and write down the things that you're really good at. In this past year, I found out that I was really good at creative directing because I was co-directing my music videos with my main producer. And that's something that I serve right now. So I have artists that I work with all over the US and I'm creative directing their vision and helping them, with their project, and making that vision come to life. So it's beautiful. It's not something that you just have to do for yourself. Like think how you can, while you do your thing, how you can give back, because those are going to be not only like a relationship building, what we were talking about, but also how you're going to see your first money as an artist, and that money can be your investment into the projects that you want to put out into the world. So it's super exciting, super scary, because we were post pandemic, but we don't have a specific answer of what the future looks like. But I'm faithful that everything will work out.
Yeah, I think it will for you. And some just a piece of advice that literally I received years ago that has stayed with me, and it's the best advice I've ever gotten because I think you kind of were saying this is just work on your strengths. Like don't focus on your weaknesses, work on your strengths and like really hone into that. And I think as an artist, like you're saying, like that will really serve you in many directions than just being an artist.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of celebrities do this now. It's like they do a clothing brand, they do a makeup line, they do a skincare line. I mean, like, because that's something that falls under who they authentically are. And then
Right.
it's really, I mean, it's easy to do something with passion that you already have instead of trying to make stuff up.
Right.
you know, so
Yeah, going that route is so much harder, you
yeah.
know. Just find something that really resonates with you, you know,
Yeah.
like Ariana did her perfume, and Celine
Yeah.
Rare Beauty because she's so passionate about that. That's her mission, you know.
Yeah.
So just find that thing that sparks you, you know, after music, after dance, whatever your craft is, and just turn it into something that you can serve the community with. You know, it's beautiful to have businesses that aren't just, you know, like a food store or some other store, you know,
Yeah.
it's just something that can, I don't know, inspire somebody in creating their own version of it and
Yeah.
just being, you know, spin the wheel of creativity forever.
I love that. I love how you also talked a little bit about how, you know, you changed the direction of just streaming to now merch and like having your website and possibly a tour or whatever, and looking into that. Like, what made you change that direction, and what are some myths and misconceptions in the artist industry, like with these gigs and
Mm,
tours and things like that? Because I could assume, maybe I'm wrong, but I could see, you know, maybe artists go to streaming because they don't want to live perform because they think they have to be big to perform live or whatever. Like, what
yeah.
made you choose that direction?
Okay. So I'm gonna preface it with there is ups and downs in every single mean that you use in the music industry. You know, since we're talking about specifically in the music industry. So it's like it's not true that you don't make money from streaming. People make million off of streaming, but they have to get to a place, and literally all their energy and all of their strategy and knowledge about it has to funnel in a specific way. Or there's people that, you know, barely have any monthly listeners and any streams on Spotify or any other platform, but are huge live performers, huge, and everybody knows them for that, or so many other things, right? So what made me change direction is that I knew I could bump up my streaming if I wanted to focus on that, but I understood that the ratio was a little bit unfair, you know, because we only get paid 0.00, I don't want to add too many zeros, but I think it's
Yeah,
zero
it's
zero
crazy.
24 cent per stream, and we get $1 if 100 people stream our music. So I just, call me stupid, call me simplistic, call me whatever, hate on me all day.
You're doing the numbers, girl.
But to me, when I went to bed,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, 100 people could fill a really nice venue.
Yeah.
But besides that, 100 people aren't worth $1.
Yeah.
100 souls.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if I get to know 100 people? You know, what if I get out of my comfort zone and I get to know 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 people in person, as many as I can, and perform my music? And they have to have, you know, a different approach. It's not like a behind the screen experience. Is now I saw Ludovica live, or I touched her, I spoke with her, I sat down with her, or we exchanged gifts, or whatever that interaction looks like. But I want to give the value that one soul has back. I want to respect the ratio.
Yeah.
So as hard as that endeavor is, because it's a lot more energy and work and time, but I that's
I
the
think that's better anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think digital presence has its, you know, it has its perks, but I think in-person meaningful connections, like having in-person connections and meaningful connections that way, it pays more dividends in my opinion in the long term. You know, you develop a relationship. You guys, you know, I mean, whether it's a fan or whether it's somebody you collaborate with, it's just better that way. I think
think
personally,
about
even
it this
so.
way too. I mean, this is like a very long shot, but it's something that I often think about. You know, if the world, you know, internet plug, like we're to just unplug, you know,
Yeah.
we would all be offline all of a sudden,
Oh yeah.
you know. So what you've built is a lot of followers. You would lose all of your posts
Yeah.
and whatever. Who's gonna contact you? You
Yeah.
know, who would you still be able to talk to on the phone or in person? You
Yeah.
know, who would you reach out to? And that's what I thought about too. I was like, I want my fans to be able to have access to me in more ways than just my account. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just a
I
different way
love
to
that.
look at it. It's not something that I'm saying everybody should go that route. It's something that you
Yeah.
have to feel true to yourself. And if you are that person, if your mentality swings that way, embrace it and go full force. Um, but yeah, there's not one right way to do it.
Yeah. Interesting. One thing that kind of popped in my head as you were talking is really where do artists go? How do artists like meet people? Because like, is it just at the bar? Is it just like regular people things? Is it when you're just out doing things? Or do you guys, I don't know. I've always wondered.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
I've only
there's
met artists
hey,
purposefully, not on
yeah,
accident.
right. Where did you meet the artists that you met?
Just on Instagram like you. Not like and on social media, I haven't met artists in person, and that's probably because I don't go out that much personally, but it's also because probably there isn't that many artists, because if there's that many artists it'd be weird.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
well, I'm
but
glad we connected in person. That was different. You
yeah,
know,
that was
not
different.
so popular nowadays.
Yeah.
But I guess like they do it in a lot of different ways. Like uh,
Yeah.
we could do like meet and greets after concerts, or and those are so cool and so fun. Like I look out for one day having like my own meet and
Meet
greet,
and
because
greet.
I think no matter how long the concert is, I would stay 3, 4, 5 times as much longer afterwards to meet whoever
The
showed up to my
people.
concert. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
this night ahead of me.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah, but like local artists in general, like I know you guys always find each other. Is it through social media or just collaboration? Like organically from
are you talking about local?
yeah.
I guess like everybody kind of knows of
Knows
each
each other.
other. So if I meet somebody that I already, if I meet up with an artist that I already know, and they said that they stumbled on somebody's page that sings that apparently like she or he hasn't met in person yet, just heard of, we just kind of exchange the contact and we see if we fit for each other for like a collaboration or something. So yeah, social media is huge in regards to
Yeah.
finding people that you wouldn't meet otherwise. But
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. Learning from other artists, local artists, it's like mainly it's Instagram.
yeah,
That's like
mainly
the
it's
source of
Instagram, you're right.
communication. Mhm.
Or another way that I'm thinking about, it's if somebody got featured into a local platform, like a local radio station, whoever gets an interview at U92, like you get to know them like a second later, right? The interview goes,
Yeah.
or like a podcast that we all kind of, been interviewed before or that we follow. So platforms are huge to be connected with because
Okay.
it lets what's hot,
Yeah.
who is in your scene. So,
That's cool. That's something I didn't know. So that's cool.
well, you
Yeah.
do it. Start is it? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
people that will watch this interview will probably say like, "Oh, I didn't know about Ludovica," or I didn't know about Shay. Like now I know
Yeah.
that Shay runs Star and
Yeah.
Ludovica does music.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's a good point. That's way cool. Yeah, I mean, that's all the questions I have for you today. I mean, I really want to end off by you telling everybody where we could find you and support you. That is like key because I really want everyone to know where they could find you and support your music.
Thank you. Okay, so first, watch out for my music video coming out tomorrow, May 7th. Fast. It's an amazing, amazing project. Put a lot of effort and work into that one. So I'm excited for everybody to see what the visuals look like and make sure to check it out tomorrow, May 7th, on my YouTube channel. And that's just by typing Ludovica. My Instagram is Ludovica Songs. You can find me on Clubhouse at Ludovica. Twitter is also Ludovica. And I have a couple of public Facebook pages, same name. So
Perfect.
yeah, that's all my platforms.
Awesome. Thanks for, talking about, I always learn from you. It's funny because it could be even like a similar topic or question, and I still learn from you.
You're so sweet. You're so
So
sweet.
thank
I
you for
learned
being
from
on the
you too.
podcast.
I learned from you too.
Oh,
You're an
thanks.
amazing human being. You have to give yourself credit for what you're doing for the community. I so appreciate it because you just
Thank
give
you.
a voice to the voiceless. So
Thank
you're
you.
doing great.
Thanks so much, Ludovica, and we'll talk soon.
Yes.
If you'd like to learn more about START, visit STRT.com.
Yeah, cuddle up with me, tickle at my feet. I don't wanna do unless your heart is close to me.